What up, world? It's your boy, one of the guys down here.
Hello, everybody. Happy Earth Day. Hope you all are having a good day. Today is some intellectual. We're going to be celebrating Earth Day. So do something productive, plant something in your garden to celebrate Earth Day. So while our Earth's arguably millions of years old, Earth Day, the day set aside to commemorate and demonstrate our support for the protection of our planet, is just 50 years old. Earth Day was first celebrated on March 21st in 1970. That was the day of the spring equinox, the first day of spring in the northern hemisphere. So peace activist John McConnell spoke about, denoting a day to honor Earth and the ideals of a peaceful planet in the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization conference in San Francisco in 1969. Earth Day was sanctioned in a proclamation written by McConnell and signed by then Secretary General of the United Nations, U Thant. The first Earth Day celebration, about a month later, on April 22nd, 1970, Gaylord Nelson, he's the United States Senator from Wisconsin, organized an Earth Day celebration focused on the United States and its growing environmental problems. He's seen like the massive 1969 oil spill of the coast of Santa Barbara, California, and knew something had to be done, right? So Senator Nelson originally conceived Earth Day as an environmental teach-in, similar to an anti-Vietnam War teach-ins that would bring the environmental concerns of the people to the attention of its political leaders. So he chose April 22nd, which was a Wednesday in 1970, rather than March 21st. The spring equinox, because he wanted to maximize the number of students who would be on campus at that time. April 22nd, 1970, did not fall during spring break, nor did it conflict with either Passover or Easter. And Nelson reasoned it was late enough in spring for the weather to be warm enough for outdoor activities in most of the country. So the United Nations, both the spring equinox and April 22nd as Earth Day. So this first April Earth Day was celebrated by about 20 million Americans at 2,000 colleges and universities, about 10,000 primary and secondary schools, and hundreds of communities that came together to show their support for badly needed environmental reform. So let's talk about New York City and Washington, D.C. So the New York City division of the National Earth Day movement was led by a guy named Fred Kent. He was a student at the time, so he rented an office, recruited volunteers, and managed to persuade Major John Lindsay to shut down Fifth Avenue for a parade and let the group use Central Park for their celebration. So the mayor's support was key to the success of the first Earth Day in New York City, drawing over 1 million participants. So Washington, D.C., the U.S. Congress was recessed, so its members could meet with and talk to their constituents about environmental issues at Earth Day events. So think about some of these questions. So do some of y'all remember the Earth Day celebration in 1970? What other Earth Day activities that maybe you and your family do or your communities do, make sure you celebrate that with them. So the impact. So what is the impact of Earth Day? So the impact of Earth Day on environmental challenges facing the United States was enormous at that time. So by the end of 1970, some of the first major political initiatives to actually help save the environment, including the beginning of the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, had begun. So the EPA worked to ban the use of the insecticides, and within 5 years had accomplished that planet-protecting task. Congress also passed the Safe Drinking Water Act and began to set emissions and engine efficiency standards for vehicles. So according to a statement issued by the EPA, public opinion polls indicate that a permanent change in national priorities followed Earth Day 1970. So when polled in May 1971, 25% of the US public declared protecting the environment to be an important goal, a 2,500% increase over 1969. So thanks to the impetus provided by Earth Day, many Americans began putting the concepts of environmental protection into action. Recycling is now, more of a priority in families and communities. Animals once on the endangered list are now thriving worldwide now. So, and the Earth Day Network works when hundreds of thousands of schools across the planet to integrate the ideals of environmental protection into everyday curriculum. So in Canada, how was Earth Day in Canada? So Canada celebrated its first Earth Day on September 11th, 1980. So it was organized by Paul D. Tinari, a graduate student at the Queen's University. So the first Canadian Earth Day officially opened with a ceremonial tree planting and included educational lectures and trash pickup by students. Earth Day Canada is now a national environmental charity that provides practical knowledge and tools and organizes each easy to accomplish events that support a healthier environment. So EcoKids, meanwhile, provides free educational resources for students and teachers and help them integrate your earth-friendly lessons into that curriculum. So Earth Day becomes an international event. So by 1990, over 200 million people in 141 countries were participating in Earth Day. So it had taken 20 years, but now environmental issues were being seen as important international problems that required worldwide cooperation to solve. So from the Earth Day 20 International Peace Climb, when climbers from the United States, the Soviet Union, and China climbed Mount Everest together and collected more than 2 tons of trash left by previous climbing expeditions. To celebrations in cities and towns and all over the planet, Earth Day had come to age. All right. So let's talk about Earth Day and the internet. So Earth Day 2000 marked the first time that the internet was used as the primary organizing tool, nationally and internationally. So the event recruited more than 5,000 environmental groups outside the United States and reached hundreds of millions of people in 184 countries. That's a new record, also, by the way. So from a talking drum chain that traveled from village to village in Gabon, Africa, to the thousands of people who gathered in the National Mall in Washington, D.C., the 30th anniversary of Earth Day was an exciting milestone. All right. So we got a few questions on here. So let's see how much you know about Earth Day. All right. So judging from what we talked about, so who received the Presidential Medal of Freedom for his role in the founding of Earth Day? We talked about this guy in the beginning. His name was Senator Gaylord Nelson. So here's another one. There are actually 3 Earth Days. Can you name some of them? So they have the Spring Equinox Earth Day, celebrated on March 21st. Earth Day celebrated internationally on April 22nd, and World Environment Day on June the 6th. All right, let's do one more. So who's the patron saint of I can't say that word. Ecologist. Mark me if I'm correct. Pope John Paul II proclaimed Saint Francis to be the patron saint of ecologist in 1980. Boom, we got it. All right. Well, happy Earth Day, everyone. Hope you all enjoyed a little bit of celebrating Earth Day. Make sure you're celebrating Earth Day out there. Plant a tree. Thank you, everybody. Hope you all have a great day.
And just wanted to, for the sake of all of us Earthlings out there, just wanted to say, we love you.